Hello folks, welcome to the third video in the C++ Drogon Backend series. In this video, we are going to create CRUD APIs using PostgreSQL database. So let's open PostgreSQL first and create database, user and table. First, let's create database, MyDB. Then connect to the database MyDB and then create user, my user with password, my password. Now let's grant all privileges on database MyDB to user, my user. Let's create table with fields ID and username. In this case, ID is serial and primary key. And username is varchar and it should not be null. Now let's grant all privileges on table users to my user. Also let's grant uses, select, update, on, sequence, users ID check to my user. Now the part of PostgreSQL is completed. Let's copy the previous project. We will edit the previous project to create CRUD API using PostgreSQL. To set up the database, we have to edit the configure.json file. Most of the part of configure.json is commented out, so we should uncomment it to the required portions. We should uncomment listeners portion, in which the first part of listeners only. We don't need the second part, which is for SSL. Then in DB clients, we have to uncomment out the DB clients, but comment the Redis client. We don't need Redis as of now. Also, we have to set up DB name, user and password. Let's edit the port to 5555 because that's the port where our server runs. Now let's edit the DB name, user and password in DB clients. In main.cc file, load config is commented out, so we have to uncomment that. To create models, we go to models directory and edit the model.json file, we have to edit the db name, user and password in models.json so that we can create models using Drogon CTL. Now we create model. The model is created and now we edit our project. We go to controllers directory. First of all, we edit user.s file. We don't need another map because we will store the data in SQL. We don't need mutex because the multi-threading is installed by our database, and the next int also we don't require it because primary key automatically increases because that is CTL. So we remove those variables from .cc file too. Now let's edit get info first. First remove the previous code. First we include the required headers. The first one is Drogon ORM mapper.h and another one is models users.h. Also we do using namespace Drogon ORM and using namespace Drogon models mydb. Now let's get the client db client by app.getDB client. Then we create mapper whose template argument is users by using the client. Now using the mapper we find by primary key. First argument for the primary find by primary key method is user ID. Second is callback. If successfully we find, then this method is called. Inside this method or we create JSON value and we have filled user ID with users ID. We get the user ID by user.getValue of ID. Similarly, the JSON response has name field whose value is user.getValue of username, and we send this response using callback function. And mp.findByPrimaryKey method takes another argument which is callback when the db operation throws exception, so we handle that also. In that case we want to send JSON response with error. So we create JSON value error and it has a field error with value whatever is the exception, and we send the response using callback function. Now let's edit new user. Let's remove the unnecessary code, previous code. We copy the client and mapper from previous getInfo function. Now we create a new user and set username as username. That's the function argument parameter. And now we insert using the yumpy mapper. The first argument is the new user. Second argument is the callback function, which is caused when our action is done successfully. We copy some from getInfo function. We create JSON response with field user ID and name, and also the message user created successfully. We create response, set status code, and send the response using callback. Basically, we use the previous code for this. Now dot insert function also takes another argument, and that argument is the callback when Drogon DB exception is thrown. In that case, we have to copy from the previous one. Now let's format the code using Clang format. See, the code is formatted properly. Now we try to compile and check if our methods work properly. We run cmake and then make to build the project, but we get some errors. I think the error is because of we have code from previous project in update and delete function, so we have to remove that. See, we have the previous code. I'm going to remove it. Let's format the code and build the project using cmake and make. Now let's run user project and let's check using call -x post. First we create user and then next we will get our URL. See, user is created successfully. Now we get using get method. See, it also worked. Now we will do the update and delete part. In update user, let's copy and paste the code from previous function, the code to create client and mapper. Now we get the JSON from the HTTP request. In the put method, we pass a JSON with updated name. So we get that using request arrow get JSON object, and if the JSON is empty or JSON does not have name field, then we send JSON response with error. We create JSON value error, set a field error with key error and value missing name field, and we send the JSON response using callback function. We then return from the method. Now if the JSON is passed and if it has name field, then we get that name field in new name variable. Now we find the user by primary key and then update it. To find by primary key, we pass user ID first, and then it takes two callbacks. The first callback is when we successfully find the user, and if we successfully find the user, we will update the user. To update the user, we need new name and client. We have to capture them in the capture field. And inside the callback function, we create another mapper so that we can update the found user. The mapper is mp2, and we set the user name of the user to new name. And then we call update method on mp2 mapper. Update method takes 3 arguments. The first one is the object we changed. Second one is the callback that we want to call when it is successfully updated. We want to create JSON response and send to the front end, and we set the message as user updated successfully. and we send the response using callback. Now the next callback of the update method, we can copy and paste it from the previous method. Basically we can copy and paste the DB exception callback twice, first for the update method and second for the find by primary key. We now format the code using Clang format. Let's see the code after formatting. It has been formatted properly. Let's check the curly braces and parentheses. They match, so let's build the project. We got some error and the J in JSON should be capital, so we got the error. Line 76 in user .cc file. Now we can build using make. Now the project is built successfully. We run the project and check the put HTTP method. In this case, we have to pass the error content type and data JSON with name field. Now let's see if our put method worked. Let's get the user 1. See, the name has been updated, so our put method also worked. Now let's edit the delete method. First, copy the code to create client and mapper from the previous method. Now we delete by primary key. It also takes 3 arguments. The first one is the primary key. Primary key is user ID. The second is callback, which we want to call when we successfully delete the user. In this case, we get JSON response. If we successfully do the operation, then this function is called. But in this case, there can be 2 cases. One is user is deleted successfully, another is user cannot be found or cannot be deleted, but the exception is not thrown. So in that case, we send error. We send JSON response with error, user not found. And if we delete the user, we send message user deleted successfully, and we send the JSON response using callback function. And delete by primary key function takes another argument. That argument is callback when exception is thrown. So we can copy it from the previous method. Now let's build the project using CMake and make. The project is built successfully. So let's run the project and test the delete HTTP method using call. Now let's delete the user 1. Now the response is user deleted successfully, so we have deleted the user, and let's check by using get method. And there is no user, so all the methods worked properly, and that's all for today. In the next video, we'll probably have a look at WebSockets. Thank you.